Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope that everyone is in good health. So in this video of Python tutorial series we will talk about tuples. So in mathematics, tuple is a finite order list of elements. So using that theory, Python has a tuple of its own. So in Python, a tuple is a finite ordered immutable sequence of elements. So there are these three terms are self-explanatory towards the Python tuple concept. So finite means there is a limited amount of items that we can store. Limited in terms of like the ones we can count. It's not like we can only store 1,000 number of elements. No, it is like we can how much amount we can count that we can store. Ordered means that all the items are at some order and we can fetch it using that order. And immutable. So immutable. This is what it makes that different from the list. So list and tuples both are sequence type of data types. So here tuple has a unique property that distinguishes itself is the immutability. So in tuple, the elements stored in that cannot be changed or altered at any point of time. Even tuple has prohibited the addition or deletion of any items from a tuple. So at any point of time during the program execution, we cannot change any value of the item of any tuple. Even we cannot add or delete something from the tuple. So it's like a read-only thing. So it's like you have created something, you have entered some values in the tuple, and you can use it only to read that value. You cannot change anything. Even you cannot sort the values present in the tuple. So that's how it is. So but tuples has its own use as well. So tuples are used in function parameter passing, as well as to store something that is only to be read, not to be written or altered at any point of time. So the general representation of tuple is something like this. So the tuples are enclosed by the parentheses with all the items are comma separated. So here you can see that item 1 comma item 2 dot to n up to n items. So moving forward towards how to declare a tuple and how to create a tuple. So there are like two ways to create a tuple. So one is first is your empty parenthesis. So whenever we can use this empty parenthesis to create an empty tuple. So whenever this line will be executed, as soon as the interpreter sees this empty parenthesis, it will take it as a tuple. So as soon as that I have declared it, I can easily check the type of A. So here type of A is tuple. So this is about empty parenthesis. So let's say you want to create a tuple with a single item, or as having a single value. So let's say I want a tuple with a value of, let's say, Python only. So this seems well, like I have enclosed the item with parenthesis, and I think it's like we all believe it's good to go, but it produces a string. So why? Because whenever we are declaring a tuple with a single item, so I have to mention this comma. So this tuples is a comma separated data type. So if for a single item, if we don't take, or if we don't specify the comma, it will by default take its the original data type of that item. So if I declare here as a number or a float value, let's say 25.53, without using this comma, so I'm just enclosing it with the parenthesis. So it will by default take its default data type. So if I want it to be a tuple, I have to specify a comma for that. So now it is showing me as a tuple. So similarly, you can append here all values. So tuple is also like string. You can have multi-cultured data types stored in a single group. So that's how like similar to a list, but it is just that we cannot change this value at any point of time. This is just the difference, nothing else. So moving towards tuple function. So let's say you already have a list present with you. So you can, and if you want to save these values as only read only value, then you can easily convert that list into tuple using this tuple function. So the previous way was using this parenthesis. So what we can write is, let's say I have a list which is 1 2 3 4. So this is a list, right? So now if I want to change this list into a tuple, then I can use this tuple function, and in the parenthesis I will give this value variable a. Now I can check the data type of b. So as soon as I run it, I will get the data type of b as tuples. Now I have changed this a which was list into a tuple, not a but the list that was stored in a, that I have converted it into tuple and stored it in a variable b. So as I can even view the tuple. The tuple is now like parenthesis 1 2 3 4. So similar to what I used here as string list, I can also convert strings into tuples. So let's say I have a string Python stored in a, and I can use a tuple function and pass the string that I have stored in a. So what it will do is, it will take the it will split the string to single elements, and each single characters, and each character will be stored as a list or as a tuple item. So similar to tuple function, you can also use a list function to separate all the characters present in a string into a single item. So that's how tuple function can be used for a list or even for a string. So there are a couple of operations that we can perform on tuples. So first is these are very similar to the list functions or list operations that we already seen in the previous videos. So tuple have this addition operator, so it helps us to add two tuples. So let's say I have a tuple of 1 2 3, and I have a separate tuple which is 4 5 6, and if I use this addition operator, so it will create a new tuple. So I am clearly mentioning that it is not adding a tuple, it is not adding this 4 5 6 tuple into this 1 2 3 tuple. No, or even it is not in the vice versa case that I am adding 1 2 3 at the beginning of 4 5 6 tuple. No. So this both tuples are individually being added internally, and it creates a new tuple of 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it is not like I am appending something, or I'm just inserting something at some point. No, it is creating a totally new tuple, and I have to in order to use it, I have to store it somewhere. Similar to the multiplication or repetition operation in list, I have this star operator. So it will basically make a tuple with the elements or the already present elements of the tuple in multiple times. So I have this 1 2 3 as a tuple, and I want to repeat it 3 times, or I want to make a list in which these 3 items are the occurrences of these 3 items are multiplied by 3 times. So I will use this star function, so it will return 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, because I have I want this repetition of this list or sorry, this tuple 3 times. So moving on to membership operator, so it will check for the presence of an item that I want to search, if it is present in the tuple or not. So it will return a boolean value which is true or false. So let's say I have a tuple a 1 2 3 4 5. So for the simplicity, I am taking 1 2 3 4 5 as an example. So in real world scenario, you will have a tuple which has a string as well as a float value, or as even a dictionary or something that is embedded in a single group. So for simplicity, I am taking this small example. Let's say I want to search if one is present in the list or not. So I can use this membership operator. So I will check for 1 in A. So 1 is present in the A, so it will return the value of true. So let's say I'm checking for 100. So it will return a value of false because 100 is not present in the list. Sorry, not in tuple. So similar to the opposite of the membership operator is known as not in. So if I want to check if the present is if the item is not present in the list, then I can use the not in operator. So not in will check if the present is if the value is absent or not. So let's say I can use the same example. If I can check 100 not in A, then it will return the value of true because 100 is not present in the list and it is true. So here I forgot to mention one thing, that when we are declaring a tuple, it is not mandated to have this parenthesis always there. So let's say I want to create a tuple of values of three values. Let's say the three values are 25, 50, and 75. So I don't have to enclose it you by parenthesis. I can simply just add the values to the list by just comma separating it. So here I have defined a is equal to 25, comma 50, comma 75. So it will by default take it as a tuple. So here I can see that also. So if I type the if I want to know the type of a, so it will automatically take it as a tuple. So it's very easy to create a tuple. You don't have to specify, or you don't have to enclose it by the brackets, but make sure that you have comma in between your elements, so it will automatically take it as a tuple. So moving on to tuple indexing and slicing. So the string, list, and tuple follows the same indexing pattern. So all start with zero indexing, and all allows the negative indexing as well. So I have a short example for it. For those who haven't seen my previous videos, so that they can easily relate to that. So I have a tuple of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. So the indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the negative indexes that will start from the end of the list, end of the tuple, that is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So you can use these negative strings to start traversing from the end of the tuple, so that you can if you don't know the size of the list, so of list or tuple, you can directly check the value that is at the end of the tuple. So I will take the same tuple that I have shown here. I will store it in the value a, and if, let's say I want to check what is the last three elements of the tuple. So similar to strings and list, I will use this square brackets notation in order to fetch any value from any index. So let's say I will check. So here the last third index is always -3. So I will start with -3 and I will go till the end. So I will get 40, 50, and 60. These are the last three elements present in the tuple. Similarly, I can go, even I can find, I want the last fourth element and last third element. Then I can use -4 colon minus. This is nothing but slicing. So I will get -30, -40, which are the last fourth and last third element respectively. So similarly, you can try out different permutation combinations. So you can even mention a stride, which you can mention stride, so you can jump or skip some of the values that you don't want. So I will take so by default stride is 1. So you can try it for 2. So it will first present the first element. So first element is 40, that is at -4th index, and then it will jump 1, so it will jump 40, and then it will print 50, and then it will again jump, so 60 will not be printed. Similarly, you can try out. So even you can fetch a single item using a single index. So if I use as -4, so it will return 30, which is the fourth element from the end of the string. So you can even try for positive index, that is at first index I have 20, so it will return 20. So as I told you before, that a tuple does not allow addition or removal of any items in the tuple, but you can delete a tuple totally. So deletion of tuple is allowed, but deletion from the tuple is not allowed. So let's say I have a tuple which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say 1, 2, 3 only. So I can delete the whole tuple. So as soon as I can use it using this del method or the del keyword. So del's place whatever your object tuple name is. So now I cannot access the value of a because I have already deleted the tuple. So now it is giving me a name error that a is not defined, because if you are deleting something, then you cannot use that value, right? So because this deletion is doing it from the memory, so if the memory is deleted, then you cannot access that value that is present in the memory, because if you delete the memory, then the contents are also deleted. So the last topic of this video is tuple packing and unpacking. So tuple packing and unpacking is we have already seen it, but this is a concept that we need to know. So what I was telling in the previous section was, if I write something like this, that is a is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is nothing but your tuple packing. So you are packing some items into a variable which is a, or you can have any name for your variable. So this scenario is known as tuple packing. So let's say I know that this tuple has only 3 values or only 4 values, then I can extract those values by using a term which is known as unpacking. So let's say I will use b, c, d, e, and I will write equals to a. So what this statement will do is, it will unpack the values from the tuple. So I have packed this value, right? If I run it, so now a is my tuple. So if the value of a is 1, 2, 3, 4. So now if I want to take out these items in a single go, I can use this tuple unpacking feature. So it is mentioning all your variable names in a by a comma separated way, and I will equal it to the tuple that I want to I have the values in. So if I run this code, so what I will have is, I will have so now it will match with B with the first element, C with the second element, D with the third element, and E with the fourth element. Similarly, so if I check this value, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in B, C, D, E. So if I change this order, it will shuffle that, because D is having the value of 3. So if I change the order in the printing, so it will change the values that will be printed. So but remember guys, you cannot pack something less than or something greater than the values that are already packed in the list. So let's say I have these 4 elements, so I cannot do something like this. So I cannot have write B, C, D equals to a. So it will not do something like I will take only 1, 2, 3 values and I will ignore the 4. No, if you do this, then you will have a value that too many values to unpack, because you need a fourth variable here as well in order to unpack this tuple. Even I cannot do something like I will take an extra variable here and I want to assign it a value, duplicate value to it. No, it will not happen, because it will return the error that is not enough values to unpack, because you are expecting 5 values and you only have 4 values. So that was the basic of tuple. So I hope you guys like this content. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Take care of your health. I will be soon returning with the next part of the tuples. So till then, this is Raj signing out. If you haven't subscribed this channel, please subscribe it. Please like it, and if you have any doubts, please comment on the comment section. Thank you.